Hi, I'm Randolph Miller, and welcome to Bounce Around Charleston. Only a few days remaining for voters to cast their votes in Charleston's mayoral race on November the 3rd. And as some of you may already know, the current mayor of Charleston, Mayor Joseph P. Riley, is retiring and will not be seeking re-election. There are 6 candidates vying for his position: William Dudley Gregory, Ginny Darren, Leon Stavronakis, Toby Smith, John Tecklenburg, and Maurice Washington. Maybe you haven't decided yet who you will vote for. In today's show, I'm going to give you a brief introduction of who they are. Let's start with William Dudley Gregory. Live 5 News reporter Liza Lucas spent some time with him as he brings you his dream for the city.
I'm ready day one because I'm familiar with our city's budgets, our city's programs, even more importantly, very familiar with our neighborhoods and their needs.
As a sitting city councilman for District 6, Gregory says his years of experience set him apart.
I think it's important for the next mayor to have an established relationship with City Council.
He says he listens to what the community wants, things like the Ashley Road drainage project.
This is a project that the people in this neighborhood have been waiting on most of my life. Projects like this will continue to be a priority. We have to really make sure that all of our infrastructure is in place so that we can keep our people in this city safe.
Before serving on council, Gregory spent 32 years at the U.S. Department of Housing and Development. He says MUSC's Ashley River Tower is the crown jewel of his HUD projects.
It has created thousands of jobs in our community. This is evident of the kind of resources at the national level that I can bring forth to our city.
Gregory also wants to create more affordable housing for low-income families as well as seniors and millennials.
It's very important that we do a mix of homeownership as well as rental housing. What I want to do when I become mayor is to continue to create neighborhoods of affordability like this so that we can in fact mix the poor and the middle class together and not be able to distinguish the difference.
Now, hear about the many issues Ginny Darren plans to solve if she's elected. Here's Live 5 News reporter Deshaun Brown with her story.
It's time for action.
To understand Ginny Darren, one of 6 candidates for Charleston mayor, she says it all starts here. Seated on this park bench behind Edisto Hall at James Island County Park, Darren called it the birthplace of one of her proudest moments yet. Education program Wings for Kids, an effort she founded in 1996.
And it's grown into a multi-state, multi-million-dollar, hundreds of employees, named one of the best managed organizations in South Carolina.
Its management, Darren says she's done well. She started the work on Mayor Riley's first campaign and managed his last in 2011.
And I think that for our new leader for the city, it's very important to have a good understanding of where we've been and how we've gotten here in order to really inform our vision for where do we want to go now.
Mine's the only plan.
Darren says that plan is clear, touting her platform as the only in the race, outlining that plan in detail, starting with traffic.
Which is, no question, the biggest issue on people's minds.
And a plan to fix roads, build new bridges, create more walk space, even trying out a ferry.
I'm a believer that we cannot solve the traffic and congestion problems by tinkering around the edges, sinking a few traffic lights, doing a little bit here, doing a little bit there.
On to development and plans to grow the city, Darren says it is all about balance, making sure the infrastructure is there before adding any more, and in places where people want it.
Where I come from, entering into this mayor's race, is a person like most people who live in our city, who loves our city. I love Higgins Pier. I love the smell of Pluff Mud. I love the soulful sound of Morris Brown. Whatever the reasons are that people have that they love this city. But we do want to protect and preserve this Charleston that we love.
Now let's hear from Leon Stavronakis, a former county council chairman, a state representative, and attorney. He sat down with Live 5 News reporter Karina Bolster to share why he should be Charleston's next mayor and what you can expect.
What a challenge getting around today.
Oh my God.
Terrible.
Leon Stavronakis experienced it firsthand today, how bad traffic is in the city of Charleston.
Charleston needs a hands-on mayor, a proven leader, ready on day one.
It's just one of the many issues the West Ashley homeowner plans to handle, hands-on if elected mayor.
I've got to deal with it just like everybody else, the challenge of being patient, trying to find a way to get to the office in order to get to work.
Right now, Stavronakis is an attorney at his own law firm in downtown Charleston. He's also a state representative for District 119, which includes parts of West Ashley, James, and Johns Islands.
Hey, how are y'all? Leon Stavronakis, how you doing? Good to see y'all.
On top of that, he's a husband and a father of 3. If elected mayor, he says he will be letting go of some of those jobs.
Well, mayor's full-time for me. People should know I'm all in and will be 100% committed to my work as mayor of Charleston.
Stavronakis says because of his background and connections on the local, state, and even federal level, he can get things done for the city, especially in regards to traffic and transportation.
It's going to take a regional approach to dealing with this problem because it's not just a city issue. I mean, the commuters are coming across jurisdictional lines. The growth that Charleston is experiencing is not just in the city of Charleston. Even if we had a plan that was just our own to deal with it, it still had to take into account what's happening in other jurisdictions.
Other issues he's laid out in his comprehensive plan looks at crime, education, the government, economy for the city, and the quality of neighborhoods. To accomplish those tasks, he has to follow in the footsteps of Joe Riley, who has crafted the city of Charleston into what it is today.
In my view, if you try to be Joe Riley or try to not be Joe Riley, you're going to create problems for yourself. My view is you come in every day and you focus on the work that the community needs done.
Coming up after the break, we will hear from Toby Smith, John Tecklenburg, and Maurice Washington on what they plan to do if elected mayor. Welcome back. Only a few days remaining for voters to cast their votes in Charleston's mayoral race on November the 3rd. There are 6 candidates vying for Mayor Joseph P. Riley's position. In the first segment, I introduced you to 3 candidates: William Dudley Gregory, Ginny Darren, and Leon Stavronakis. Now, let's hear from the remaining candidates: Toby Smith, John Tecklenburg, and Maurice Washington. Let's start with Toby Smith. Here's what she plans to do if elected mayor.
We've got it all right here. Very, very grateful.
Charleston native Toby Smith is proud to call this her home.
How my grandfather would drive over the old bridge.
And she wants to continue to be a part of the changes it's seen.
I remember when it was just that sleepy little hamlet where everything closed early on Wednesday and it was dark, and now it's alive.
But Smith says not all places are thriving like they should, and Smith wants to change that for what she calls communities on the edge.
Charleston is booming, but they're not a part of that boom. It's almost as though they're stuck in time, and they're plagued with high unemployment and lots of crime.
Smith began her professional career at the CIA.
Having had the opportunity to live and work overseas as long as I did, in tough, challenging situations.
She says that has shaped her as a leader, and she wants to take that leadership to the community.
It's an issue of strength and unity, and we could go in there and make some differences. And if we can do it there, we can do it other places in town.
Strength and unity, a message that Smith is carrying with her.
On the tough issues, like race, I'm not afraid to have those conversations. I think it's important for our community. I think we're there. I think we're at a point where we want to sit down and talk about what does this mean?
Smith wants to see the International African American Museum break ground in Charleston, something she's been a part of with Mayor Joe Riley since the late 90s.
I think it's time we tell our story. It is a unique story, and it is a shared story.
She also has some new ideas for the
WA
or West Ashley. She wants to bring life to certain areas like Citadel Mall.
I know we've got challenges with transportation, education, housing, and a lot of those things directly relate to our disparities. So if we tackle that, I think we can make some difference here.
And as a minister of nearly 10 years, Smith says her faith is central to who she is. In Charleston, Alexa Simmons, Live 5 News.
Now let's hear about the many issues John Tecklenburg plans to solve if he's elected mayor.
I'm John Tecklenburg.
Hi, it's so nice to meet you.
And I'm running for mayor of Charleston.
Tecklenburg, a commercial realtor, wants to revitalize West Ashley. He lives there and wants to renovate buildings that are now empty.
We need a facelift and put some of these older, tired commercial properties back to good use.
Tecklenburg says his business background makes him the right choice for mayor. He served as the city's economic development director under Mayor Riley in the mid to late 1990s, when the focus was the revitalization of Upper King Street. Tecklenburg says the streetscape beautification project included new sidewalks, curbing, streetlights, and underground power lines. As mayor, he plans to focus on economic development in other parts of the city.
That's exactly the kind of thing that I see we need West Ashley, particularly along Sam Rittenberg Boulevard. I call it strategic economic development, and that's what I plan to do.
Tecklenburg also wants to take a hard look at the city's zoning laws after the Sergeant Jasper Apartments development controversy. He opposes the plan, saying it's just too much.
As Wendy's would say, they were supersizing it.
But he says the biggest complaints he's getting from voters is traffic congestion. Tecklenburg says there is no direct funding source that comes to the city for building new roads and bridges. He's calling for an overhaul of the public's transit system.
It's really not a viable alternative for most folks to use our Carter, our existing system. It needs to be elevated, a quantum leap in quality and service.
Let's wake up the holy city.
Tecklenburg wrote a song for his campaign for mayor. He's hoping to be singing his way to victory on Election Day.
I want Charleston to be the #1 place to live.
This brings us to our last mayoral candidate, Maurice Washington, a community activist and CEO. Live 5 News reporter Aaron Mabin sat down with him at his campaign headquarters downtown and talked about his focus for the city and why he entered the race when he did.
Above Maurice Washington's Wagner Terrace home of 20 years sits his campaign headquarters of 5 months.
Hello. Yay. Good morning. Good to see you.
A fold-up table is where his small family of volunteers meet daily. A family in which he breaks bread and makes tough decisions.
No, I insist, please.
Some say Washington entered Charleston's mayoral race too late, becoming candidate number 6 and already trailing the pack.
I spent the first 8 months actually just moving around the city, talking to different people about chances, about opportunities, about support. And when we felt that the timing was right, we then entered the race.
Washington is a product of the Gadsden Green housing complex on the city's west side. The dump across the street was a playground for him and his 9 siblings. The son of a single mother, no father, and immense poverty, he often gets choked up at his life today. And although his beloved mother died in 1995, her life lessons like never be the victim, trust in the Lord, and lead from the bottom up are with him today.
What I've learned from her over the years is you don't need a whole lot of money to make things work and to bring things together.
He overcame poverty and the projects, graduating from Burke High School, attending South Carolina State, and getting his first taste of politics. In 2002, Washington was appointed to Governor Mark Sanford's transition team, assisting with numerous board and commission appointments. You have this amazing resume already. Why add mayor to that?
Well, because I care about the future of our city. You know, we have done an amazing job building a Charleston that people from all over the world want to come and visit. Now is the time to focus on residents who live here permanently, on their neighborhoods and communities, their family.
He believes Charleston's best days are ahead. A city where traffic is better managed, drainage is near perfect, And all the little learners in Low Country are getting the proper education.